At the beginning of the movie, we are shown a white, empty room where the eyes of a Japanese man suddenly open. His name is Chang. This room has no door, no window, and no other human inside. When he walks closer to one of the walls, he notices a strange button on it. Without thinking much, he presses it. Suddenly, from the floor and the walls, hundreds of laughing tiny angels come out. After a short while, they go back inside the walls. But before disappearing, they leave behind more strange buttons on the walls. This was a lesson for him. As soon as Chang smells the finger he used to press the button, he gets terrified and starts screaming for help. But it's useless, there is no one else there. After this, Chang decides to press all the buttons one by one. Every time he presses a button, a new item falls into the room, sometimes a huge flower vase, sometimes a tiny toothbrush. And pressing the same button repeatedly drops the same item every time. While doing this, he ends up collecting a large pile of chopsticks. Then, when he presses the button next to it, a small trolley rolls out and hits his feet. In pain, he presses another button, but this one produces a child's backside shape that releases gas directly onto his face. Hours pass, and now the room is full of all kinds of strange things. Exhausted, Chang throws a ball at the wall, accidentally hitting a button that drops a sushi meal. Starving, Chang gets happy for a moment. But there is no soy sauce to eat it with. Desperate, he keeps pressing the button hoping for soy sauce. But each time only sushi falls. When he still doesn't get sauce, he gives up and eats the sushi without it. He finishes all of it, but his hunger still isn't satisfied. So he presses the button again, and this time a bottle of soy sauce falls. Annoyed, he throws the bottle away angrily. When he presses the button again, he gets an old-fashioned 3D glasses. The moment he puts them on, he sees a tiny angel pointing toward one specific button. Chang wonders if this is the real way out. As soon as he presses that button, a countdown starts, and when it ends, a child's backside drops from above, releases gas on his face, and falls asleep right there. Frustrated, Chang starts reading a book. After finishing the 5th part, he presses a button for the 6th part, but instead, the 7th part falls out. Angry, he presses other buttons, getting the 8th and 9th parts, but still not the 6th one. Confused, he presses another random button, and suddenly, a hidden door behind him slides open. Overjoyed, he jumps up shouting. But in his excitement, he forgets which button opened the door. When he presses another button, an African tribesman bursts through the wall and disappears again. Pressing a different button drops water onto his head. After some time, he finally finds the correct button again. But as he walks toward the door, it closes in front of him. The same thing happens again. Suddenly, he realizes he must hold the button down to keep the door open. He tries every strange method, pressing it with his foot, tying a rope, even using objects, but nothing works. Finally, he picks up a flower vase and places it on the button. But even then, the button rises back up. He realizes he must make the vase heavier. First, he tries filling it with water, but the water just pours onto his head. Then he fills the vase with sushi until it becomes too heavy to lift. Because the vase's mouth is small, he can't take the sushi out, so he uses chopsticks to remove it one piece at a time. After emptying it, he lifts the vase again and carries it to the button, but once again, forgets which button opens the door. Panicking, he presses a random button and the same tribesman jumps out, colliding with the vase and breaking it into 2 pieces. Chang goes crazy with anger, but eventually, he finds the door button again. This time, he tries covering the button with sushi, but that fails too. He tries taping it down, doesn't work. Exhausted, he falls asleep. After waking up, he wants to brush his teeth. He presses a button to get water, but again presses the wrong one. Luckily, this wrong button drops a long rope from above. Chang suddenly gets an idea. Maybe this rope can help him reach the door in time. Now he presses the door button and swings across the room using the rope, reaching the door just in time. But inside, there is another door, and this one is locked. Before it shuts, he runs back into the first room, but the door slams into his back. Enraged, he kicks the wall hard, and suddenly, a key floats in the air at the center of the room. Chang realizes this key belongs to the second door, but just like before, the key disappears after a moment. Now he must find both the button that drops the key and a way to keep the door open long enough. But once again, he forgets which button spawns the key. He presses a random button, and a dog jumps out barking at him. He tries again, same dog. On the 3rd try, he finally finds the right button. After this, Chang slowly points toward the buttons while stepping backward. He picks up the sushi lying behind him and comes back to the button placing the sushi on top of it. But as soon as he presses the button again, the same dog pops out. Later, he finds the correct button and comes up with a new plan. This time, he tries swinging with the rope to reach both buttons at once. But this plan also completely fails. As soon as he falls to the floor, his eyes catch the plunger he had taken from another old button earlier. The moment he sees the plunger, an idea strikes him. He thinks that he can stick the plunger to the wall and use it to press the button. After several attempts, he starts enjoying it, and the method begins to work smoothly. This time, while swinging with the rope, he uses the plunger to attach himself to the wall, presses the correct button, pushes the plunger backward, and grabs the key. Then he presses the door button. Swinging from the rope, he enters the room before the door can close. But then he gets another shock right above the door. There is another lock that requires a 3-digit password. Panicking, he quickly runs back into the main room. Again, the door smashes into his back. Frustrated, he grabs the plunger and slams it against the wall. As soon as the plunger hits the wall, it presses a hidden button, and the same tribesman appears again. But this time, as the tribesman passes in front of him, Chang notices 3 digits written on his forehead. He immediately understands these 3 numbers must be the password for the upper lock. But the problem was the limited time he could stay inside the wall. So he quickly jumps inside the wall 3 times, each time inputting 1 digit. As soon as all 3 numbers match, the lock opens completely. He breathes a sigh of relief, but at that very moment, he realizes something: the main door has already closed. Now, he's trapped inside the narrow space between the 2 rooms. The space is so tight that he cannot even try to open the door. Exhausted, he sits on the floor and begins thinking. Memories flash back the times he played around with the strange buttons in the previous room. He realizes that, at least in that room, he had things to entertain himself. Suddenly, he feels a light breeze coming from the wall in front of him. Confused, he touches the wall and notices a crack. He quickly realizes the wall is fake. Without wasting time, he breaks it open and enters a mysterious hall. The path looks like it's floating in air, stretching endlessly forward. It feels as if he must run for eternity to reach the end. He keeps running without stopping. Finally, when he opens the hall's final door, he finds himself in a new dark room. The moment he enters, his hair grows long, and his clothes fade into pale colors. Before he can understand what's happening, the door behind him slams shut. This room resembles the first one, empty and quiet. But instead of tiny angels, this time hundreds of large angels are present. They stay for a short while, then suddenly vanish into the walls, leaving behind the same strange buttons. Chang almost gives up hope, but then he notices a strange beam of light descending from above. Shocked, he looks up and realizes that this room has no ceiling, and many angels are flying high above. Instead of pressing the buttons blindly, Chang uses them to climb upward. But here, something bizarre begins to happen. As he touches each button while climbing, strange events start taking place on Earth. From flowers blooming to elephants dying every time he climbs higher, the effects of the buttons intensify. Soon the changes go beyond nature and begin affecting humanity, like a toaster starting on its own, or humans landing on the moon. With each rise, the impact becomes greater. Finally, when he reaches the top, his hair and beard are extremely long. Now he doesn't even need to touch the buttons. He floats in the air like the angels. At this height, he remembers everything he experienced in the previous rooms. Accepting all that is happening, he continues forward. He understands now that pressing buttons is no longer his job. He must make the greatest decisions for humanity. As his task nears completion, the walls of the room dissolve, forming a ring of wings around him. He moves into a strange, glowing portal and reaches the final room. It turns out to be the future. One wall of this room shows a map of all continents. On the opposite wall, there is a huge button. The man walks toward it, and just as he is about to press it, the story ends with this mystery. For more stories like this, don't forget to comment next. Thanks for watching.